Hello and welcome to the Reasons I'm Broke podcast, giving you the reasons we're broke, ranging from comic books, movies, TV, video games, and more. I'm Kelly.
And I'm Daniel.
And for those of you joining us for the first time, we start out our format first talking about news, again, video games, comic books, movies, the things that interest us, and we finish off talking about the comic books that we pulled this week.
And just a heads up, anything that we do talk about, there will be some slight spoilers to it.
Slight.
Well, if it's a comic book that you haven't read yet, you're more than welcome to skip over it. But as far as the movies go, we won't be covering anything we saw this week, but we will be covering some video game news, Arkham Origins in particular, which was great. But we're going to start off with our first bit of news, DC's 3 weekly comics. So that's Future's End. There's going to be an Earth 2 weekly, and then of course the current one, which is Batman Eternal. All 3 of them will come to an end in March 2015. They will be replaced with all new weeklies, however.
That is the sound of them milking us. They want all our money.
The good news in all of this is that there will be an end to them. Some people were worried that these were going to be complete ongoing. They might as well be if they're going to be weeklies. What is that, like 3 years worth of comics from the weekly? Maybe more, 4 years. But the fact that they will be replaced with something new is refreshing, because maybe they'll come out with something that will interest the people that didn't pick up any one of these 3. If you're like us, we're still probably going to pick up the trades and catch up through that. Mm-hmm. One of the perks of working at a comic book shop is that I can sort of keep up with something like Batman Eternal, which has been very solid. It's just not something I can justify buying every single week. However, it looks like there was one, which we'll cover later on, that Kelly may fall for.
I have already fallen in love.
What do you think about the weeklies, though?
They're going to get money. They're going to get a lot of money. What they don't make in the weekly sales, they will probably make, like you said, in the trade sales, which are going to come out much quicker because, usually it takes, 8 months for a trade to come out?
Right around there.
Which is 6 issues. Now you got 6 issues in a month and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So those are going to come out a lot quicker. They're going to make a lot more money. The thing, too, is they can tell and finish a story before people get tired of it.
True. And if it's a shitty arc, you wait like a month and it'll be over.
And it'll be over. Exactly.
I think as long as all of the comics don't go weekly, we'll be fine. Mm-hmm. They're doing it fine right now with Sinestro and all of them, where it's just a monthly, and that's just the right amount so that we can still afford to pick up more books in the long run.
Next, some more comic book news. We have Free Comic Book Day coming up.
Yeah, it's the first Saturday in May, so that is May 3rd this year. Make sure to go out to your local comic book shop, support them. Also, every single publisher will have exclusive books just for that day. These comic book retailers don't get these for free. Everyone else does, but they do pay a reduced price for these, but it still costs them if they're buying thousands of books to try to cover all of the people that come into the shop. Get a couple of books here or there, supplies, if you're not already like a regular there. But I see a lot of times every year, people look around. It is one of the few times for some people that they actually come into comic book shops and they'll look around and see all these cool things that they have, like belt buckles or bookmarks if it's little things, or ranging for all the way to like statues, So definitely go out there, support your local comic book shop, check them out, get some free books, especially the ones for DC, actually. Once again, I mentioned one of the perks of working at a comic book shop is you do get to catch up with some of these books, and one that I do recommend for everyone is going to be Future's End.
Yes.
It's the Free Comic Book Day. I guess it's like the 0 issue of it. Mm-hmm. If you go on YouTube and you see any retailer like unboxings, a lot of them will show you the books that they got for Free Comic Book Day, and one of them will be that Future's End one. Without going into spoilers for this one, because everyone should check it out, it's a great beginning to this potential future for the New 52, and exactly where Batman Beyond fits in all of this. If you're a Batman fan, which 100% of comic book people are, because he's Batman, there's great Batman moments in this, and the stakes really are up there. Like, even though this isn't really going to be the future because somehow it'll be changed or saved or whatever, it's still a fun read.
Exactly. Let's put it this way. I'm broke. I don't have money to buy a weekly, and I will probably buy this weekly because this free comic book sold me on it.
The writers that will be attached to the Future's End Weekly are Brian Azzarello, Jeff Lemire, who's doing the Justice League United, which we'll review in a little bit, Dan Jurgens, Keith Giffen, and the artists are Ethan Van Sciver, Patrick Zurcher, Aaron Lopresti, and Art Thibbert, Dan Jurgens and Mark Irwin, and Jesus Marino with Dan Green.
Awesome. It was amazing, guys. Definitely get out there, Free comic book day. Why not? Also, if you guys have never been to a free comic book day, it's amazing. There's tons of people. You have cosplayers there. It's kind of like a little mini convention in a day.
Exactly. And some of these shops, and I was trying to get Gail Simone to come out to ours.
Aww.
Like, I was trying furiously. I'm like, we'll take you to Disney, whatever it takes. But a lot of these shops will actually have artists and writers doing some signings there. Most of the time, it's free sketches. You know, it's just a great event for retailers. People say that they're closing every year. If that's the case, absolutely support them. We don't want to go all digital, but if not, then great. You know, it's just a celebration of your local comic shop, of comic books, and there's something for everyone. There's something for people like us that like the DC books. There's something for the Marvel fans. There's a ton of stuff for kids. Uncle Scrooge comes out with one every single year. Peanuts, yeah, they're reprints, but they're still great stories.
The next DC animated movie also released a trailer this week. It's called Assault on Arkham. The movie takes place in the same universe as the Arkham games. Kevin Conroy and Troy Baker return to play Batman and Joker, respectively. Assault on Arkham is set to release mid-2014, so soon, next couple months.
Exactly. So first is Damien, Son of Batman, which a lot of people have seen already. And on Twitter, a lot of followers have told me...
You're so mad.
Well, they've told me it's great, which is awesome, because I already pre-ordered it, so it's on its way. So I know it's going to be a good buy. They're saying it's different from the books, which we already knew, because we saw Deathstroke running around killing Ra's, which didn't happen in the comics.
You mean Ra's dressed up as Deathstroke killing himself?
That's still your theory. I don't know if that's true, but...
It's the truth.
I could find out in like 5 minutes
You
by
better
tweeting.
not. I want to be surprised.
So the next one, I think it's very interesting that it's tied into the video games. The franchise is so strong, the Arkham games. I mean, they make $60 a pop on this.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it's like Dark Knight numbers, the recent Dark Knight movies, but it's definitely up there. So when you base a movie in that same universe and you get Troy Baker, which we said, if there's going to be any replacement to Mark Hamill, it'll be Troy. That's the closest you're going to get, I think, so far, is Troy Baker. He nailed it in several parts. Some of them, it's like, okay, you can kind of tell it's not Mark Hamill, but that's as close as you're going to get, and he does a great job. And then you have him playing next to Batman himself. When we saw the trailer initially, we didn't catch it immediately that it was Kevin Conroy, because he has one line and it's really short. But when you look at the credits, Kevin Conroy's back.
Yes.
I think it's going to be a fun movie.
Oh, yeah, I'm really excited. They just need to get Arlene Sorkin back, if Harley is going to be in it.
True. It focuses on the Suicide Squad, I guess. Did you notice, like, Amanda Waller in the trailer? I know the Suicide Squad, it seems like that's what they were building around. And at one point, Harley Quinn is pointing her gun at Joker. So I don't know what that's about. It's probably Joker used her as a tool.
Oh, I'm sure. She's done for the last time. Again. Such a woman.
So it looks like a lot of fun. Check it out on YouTube. Assault on Arkham.
Very excited.
Some more Batman news. This one's actually more recent. Beware the Batman returns to Cartoon Network on May 7th during their Toonami block. Good news, right?
Sort of.
This means it'll air at 3 a.m. on Sunday mornings. There are still 15 unaired episodes that will be added to circulation on July 27th. So it's kind of a double-edged sword here.
They went, fine, we'll give you back your Batman, but you motherfuckers have to stay up till 3 a.m. Ah ha ha.
Which most Batman fans are already training to be Batman, so they're up that late anyway.
You mean during lunchtime? Burr, 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 burr.
Exactly. For one, I'm just happy that they're going to air them. I would have also bought them if they're like, okay, here are the rest of the episodes on Blu-ray. If you want to see them, buy them. That would have been smart, I think.
It's only because Ra's al Ghul is going to be in it.
Ra's al Ghul was about to come out, yeah. So I got them recorded on my DVR. All the new episodes I'll be fine, but people that can't stay up that late, they will probably have to wait for the Blu-ray. Mm-hmm. So from May until July, it'll be reruns, which is fine. I think it's good to have people kind of get refreshed on the show and get back on it. There are some pretty good episodes there, especially towards the end of that break that they took. It started really ramping up on everything. I still like the new version of Magpie. I like that it's building up to Ra's al Ghul through Lady Shiva. And then there's the fact that there's, what was it, 15 episodes still?
Yeah.
That's a
like
lot.
The whole season.
Yeah. Most seasons aren't even that long, just for any show, so it's great. I'm really happy about it.
Yep, agreed. Our last bit of Batman news, we finally played the DLC for Arkham Origins Cold Cold Heart.
This one focuses on Mr. Freeze. If you have the season pass already, you don't have to worry about buying it again. This is included in there, even though it came out months after the latest bit of DLC. So it's up and down with this. I felt like this DLC was the whole game summarized in one thing. Like, not quite as good as Arkham City or Asylum, but still entertaining.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
The thing about this DLC is it locks you into a certain part of Gotham, which is fine because the download needed to be smaller and it's a more focused storyline. They still leave it open enough where you still have to unfreeze a lot of Mr. Freeze's victims around the city. But what I like the best about this is, yeah, we know that this is how it was established in Arkham City because Paul Dini wrote it, but I enjoyed that they kept it to the Heart of Ice storyline instead of the New 52 one.
Yep, I agreed. This one was very up and down for me too. I don't know, I just felt like in Arkham City, it was such a great boss battle. Like, it's probably one of the most fun boss battles I've ever watched. And then, do you remember the first thing I said to you when the credits rolled on this?
That's it?
Yep, that's it. Like, that's all they gave us.
Yeah, the boss battle here isn't... Like, while I appreciate that it wasn't the same in Arkham City where you have to find different ways to take out Mr. Freeze, the way that they made this one is you're just dropping shit on him. Like giant ice blocks, and that's the whole thing. It was too easy. There's some goons in there. They're easy to take out. You're just kind of waiting for him to go past like a circle on the floor, then you knock out the thing. I don't know. I felt like it was one of the weakest boss fights in the Arkham series. Like, it's right there with the Poison Ivy one where you're just flinging batarangs around. And that disappointed me a lot because someone like Mr. Freeze, he's such a heavy character for a lot of fans like me that grew up with the animated series. So I felt like that was actually probably the weakest part of the DLC. Like, the fetch quests, alright. The bits with Anarchy, I don't know. It was just kind of slapped on there. Like, here's something else you can do. I don't know. But the best part about it was you can explore Wayne Manor.
Yes.
Even though it's a small part of it, you can still see the wine cellars. You can see the entrance to the Batcave. So that was a lot of fun. And also the fact that you get that brand new suit, which is really badass. It's like a heat suit. You use it to break down ice walls. You touch people that are frozen and you melt them. I kept saying those are Batman hugs that are actually melting them. It's not the suit so much.
I will say I was incredibly attracted to Bruce in this, though. When he was going around fighting all those bad guys, saving Alfred in Wayne Manor. So cool.
I'd say if you already have the season pass, download it, check it out. The writing, they pretty much used the Heart of Ice episode as a blueprint. They even have a couple of the lines from the episode in this DLC.
Nora!
And Batman calling the guy Ferris Boyle humanitarian. That's in there too. Everything's in there. So very reminiscent of Batman the Animated Series. However, if you did not get the season pass, or if you can get it at a discount, maybe then. But otherwise, I'd say pass on it. Pass on the DLC. I didn't even see if you get the suit after you beat the game. I don't see why you wouldn't. That'd be kind of silly. If you could only play as the Heat suit. I guess if you want the last suit, fine. But it's not worth like the extra money that you would pay just for the Cold Heart DLC.
Agreed. Yeah, it wasn't all that I was hoping it would be. But good for Dini making a lasting impression.
Some more video game news. The Great Ace Attorney is the latest installment in the Phoenix Wright series for the 3DS and 2DS. It'll take place in the past as you play as one of Phoenix's ancestors. I don't think that's the only ancestor we'll see. We may see Edgeworths. We'll obviously see the judges. That'll be the funniest. No word yet, though, on whether or not it'll come to North America.
It'll come to North America.
Edgeworth 2 never came to North America.
It'll come to North America.
Even if it's just a DLC thing.
Right. It will be.
For people out there saying already, like the new one just came out, the thing is the last one came out in Japan last year. And they're after they work on that, they work on the next one. So the one that's coming out in Japan this year, which is this one, probably won't be here if it comes to the US till 2015.
Can't wait. You showed me the screenshot though. Looks so awesome.
It looks like a lot of fun. I'm going to post a screenshot on Twitter later on this week. You're going to see Phoenix's ancestor. So if you're a fan of the series at all, it's just great news that it's continuing. I'm still working on the current one. I actually put a lot of hours into the current game, and it's great. It's a lot of fun. I'm more than used to the graphics, and the music, the sound, everything is improved on the series.
So there is a tipster that has so far been correct with many of the Super Smash Bros. Characters' predictions. His predictions so far included the Wii Fit Trainer, Mega Man, the Villager, Little Mac, Pac-Man, and a Mii. I'm pretty sure this guy's cheating somehow. Does he have, like, insider information?
He might work for the company or know someone that works for him, but it's...
Somebody's getting fired.
He has, however, submitted more characters in his prediction.
His predictions include Shulk from Xenoblade. No idea who that is.
Yeah, he has a big sword. I didn't play the Xenoblade games. I know a lot of the Nintendo fanboys right now are saying blasphemy, you have to play Xenoblade. It came out on the Wii, and I believe the 3DS as well. I could be wrong, but for sure on the Wii, which will play on your Wii U. Xenoblade series has been very strong with the Nintendo fans, so it would be smart that they include a character like that.
Palutena, the Goddess of Light from Kid Icarus. I didn't play this either, but it looked like a fun game.
She was actually Kid Icarus's final smash in the last one. Like, she came out and shot down like comets or arrows into the background and killed a bunch of people, very similar to Ness's, where he brings down comets. And if you look at Kid Icarus's final smash, she's no longer in it. So a lot of people are saying this is kind of a confirmation that she will be a character because of that.
Chrom from Fire Emblem Awakening. Yes! I'm so excited.
So that'd be the second blue-haired character from the Fire Emblem series to make it into the...
My husband would be in this game. We got married twice.
Well, Brawl also had Ike, but I'm saying, like, for the new Smash Brothers, it'll be another one. Chrom. He was a great character.
He
was a lot of fun.
He was awesome. Did you marry Chrom?
I did not marry Chrom.
I married Chrom.
If there was gay marriage in there, maybe I would have.
He was... Man, no. When you got to his, like... What was it? His third little romantic thing? When he spied on you naked, I'm like... Really, Chrom?
Like, that was the basis of their romance.
Yes. I think I screenshotted it. His exact words were, well, we've both seen each other naked. I'm like, really? So we should get married now?
Makes no sense.
That should be his final smash. Like, he peeks on you in the shower.
And they're all defeated.
It would be amazing.
Also, the chorus men from Rhythm Heaven.
Yes. Are they the little eyes?
Yep.
Yes.
That's them. I guess if that's true, they would kind of be like the Pikmin characters or like the Ice Climbers, in which you control all three, probably just the first one, and then the rest follow. But there should be some character from the Rhythm Heaven series.
Because those such fun games.
The characters are so colorful and so entertaining. Like, one of them would fit so well in Super Smash Brothers.
Their final smash is be together now. What?
I still want the Nazi birds in there.
Peck your beak.
Exactly.
Such a fun game. I still have to beat it on all golds. Remember, I had that glitch in mine where that second Space Invaders, whatever it was called, I couldn't get gold. It would give me the all three. Yay, you did. Like, I'd get perfect, and I'd be like, just okay. I'm like, you son of a bitch.
You never got it because of that glitch.
Yes. So I tried to play it again, and I've just lost. I'm so sad.
But we do want to give thanks to @IrishOnFire31 from Twitter for the tip. He actually sent it over to us and gave us the entire article so that we can cover it on the podcast. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
This does lead us to the question of the week before we jump into our comics for this week.
Lucien Solban from Ubisoft Montreal said, so when are we going to see that gay protagonist in a AAA game? Not for a while. I suspect because of fears that it'll impact sales. So we asked, do you think it'll be later rather than sooner?
We did have some Broquette's answer to this question. Dan from Facebook said, it will be later, and when it happens, it'll be a girl first.
I could see that. They'd be like, boys play this game, and boys like girl on girl. Money! @MacDeMurderer said, true, it would have to be an indie developer.
Yeah, if anyone's going to do that, it's low risk if you're an indie developer, whereas if you're someone big like EA, more people are watching, more people are listening, much more of a chance for, like, a
Mario
lashback.
and Toad. Let's do it! No risk.
Also from Twitter, @DarkKnightDrew, I'm curious to see a gay antagonist, but surely that'll be viewed as prejudice. Hell, just make everybody gay.
I would play that game, too.
If they were to make a gay antagonist, I want it to be David Bowie from Labyrinth. Doesn't matter what game it is.
Your eyes can be so cruel.
He would just be David Bowie from Labyrinth.
They would have to give him like an unreasonably large bulge.
Oh yeah. Now we've reached this point in video games where we can give David Bowie that large bulge and actually do him justice. Do that bulge justice.
I'm pretty sure that was like that's where he kept his ball when it was
when he was done playing with it, he just stuffed it back in there.
That's what it was, I'm sure. Positive. And finally, Al from Facebook said, several games that have open-minded choices have allowed you to have same-sex relationships. Fable and Mass Effect are pretty high-level games. It will happen sooner than later. I don't think that it'll matter as long as it's a good game.
Yeah, he also provided a link from Wikipedia with all of the gay protagonists in video games in the past. So there has been a good amount of them already. Like you mentioned, Mass Effect, if you choose to make your character gay, you can definitely do that. Same with the Fable series. I think in Elder Scrolls, you can also have romantic relationships with the same sex.
In The Sims, you can.
And in The Sims as well. But I
It's
guess
a little different.
I guess the question is whether not like you make them, like it's your choice whether you want to make it, but like the character is gay and that's it. A Superman game? Superman loves Batman.
Any Superman game, Superman's already gay. There's just no question. They don't even have to.
It's not in that Wikipedia article. What's going on?
Because they just don't understand, Dan.
Well, maybe it doesn't count because he's not gay. He just loves Batman.
Oh, that's true. He's gay for Batman.
He's gay for Batman.
Okay. Search Wikipedia for games in which the protagonist is gay for Batman, and it'll list every game ever created. Including Arkham Asylum.
Largest Wikipedia article ever. With that, we can jump into the comics for this week. We're going to hit up the indie books. We don't have any Marvel books this week. And then after that, we'll jump into our DC books.
First up, we have Bravest Warriors, number 19. This one's written by Breen Burns, with art by Mike Holmes and Nicole Matthews. Can I just say how kick-ass it is that Beth's dad gave birth to her?
Yes, that is hilarious.
That was the best thing, because this whole time I'm reading it, they're talking about the one single parent, and I'm like, well, where's Beth's mom? I wonder if she died. No, motherfucking took an implant, gave birth to her. He's like, love doesn't exist, it's just impulses in your brain.
That was amazing. Like, this book pushed that. Like, we already had what was it, Wallow kissing himself, and then at Adventure Time there was like that relationship between Princess Bubblegum and Marceline. And here I'm
pretty sure this book had something gay in it too, though.
I might have missed it.
Oh no! Remember back in the when they all met their other selves.
Right.
Wallow kissed himself.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure the pink-haired lady kissed herself too.
Tara Strong's character. Yeah. I think you're right.
Plum.
Right. Yeah.
Plum.
You're right.
I'm pretty sure she kissed herself too.
Mm-hmm. Which was funny. So that being said, like, that was really funny. I'll put up the panel on Twitter if you don't follow us already at Reasons I'm Broke, or facebook.com/TheReasonsI'mBroke. I felt the story was a little overcomplicated. Like, in number 18, it was, you have Catbug and the pirate ship.
Catbug was so great.
But here they introduced, like, this past and this future and how they're kind of merging. And then they split the groups apart, which now there's a different story for each one.
I understand where they're going with it, though. This one was probably confusing. I think it leads for setup, because we had to understand why these aliens are coming after them. Mm-hmm. Because of this crazy-ass worm who's all, like, emotion-hungry. That's going to tie into Chris, who's discovering his emotion lord powers. Mm-hmm. Which, that's going to be cray-cray. We had to discover why their parents are in the Forgotten Zone or whatever, wherever they are, with this worm thing, which her dad stole, which made these guys mad. Like, yeah, it's complicated, but I get it.
See, I got a little lost with it. It was just all over the place.
Me. I am a Bravest Warriors master. Another great line was when Wallow was like, I'm expecting Catbug to just swoop in with his pirates. And then they pause for a panel, and he goes, I need to stop having so much faith in Catbug.
That was a good line.
Amazing. Catbug did not. He's like, I took these homeless people and we're pirates now. Fuck you all.
Wasn't my favorite issue, but it was still pretty decent.
Did you catch Ralph Waldo Pickle Chips?
I didn't. Mm-mm.
They talked about Ralph Waldo Pickle Chips, which, if you watch the YouTube show, is the guy who sent the door into the other dimension, which is Beth's dad. Because when they introduce Beth's dad, they say Mr. Tetsuka or whatever, parentheses, a.k.a. Ralph Waldo Pickle Chips.
You're way more into the lore than I am.
I am, clearly. So I am. I am all on top of this. You guys got Bravest Warriors questions? Send them over. All on top of this shit.
This next one, though, I adored.
Yes.
This was funny. I was laughing.
So
I immediately
good.
went on Twitter, and I tweeted the writer for this one, which is going to be Duffman Adventures #1. We have a couple writers on this one. The artist is Mike Rote. The first story here is a Green Lantern parody. It's written by Max Davison with drawings or pencils by John Delancey. Duffman is basically, this is his origin in the Duffman universe, and he is essentially a Green Lantern, part of the Duffman Corps. And everything that you want, if you're a Green Lantern fan, all of it is in there. You have your Sinestro reference, you have Oa, which is called Oh Yeah. Like, I couldn't help but laugh. This entire time I'm reading this story, just a giant smile on my face. and I couldn't think, like, this story is really good. How could it get better with that backup story? I actually like the backup story even more. They were both excellent. I think the backup story was called Duff TV. Mm-hmm. That one was written by Ian Boothby, who does a lot of the Simpsons books. The art was by Jacob Chabot.
I'm going to talk about the first story for a minute.
Sure.
I'm reading this, and I'm like, oh, haha, they're going to make a silly little reference. And the more I'm reading this, I'm like, holy shit, somebody who really likes Green Lantern wrote this. Because, like you said, they had everything in it. They had, oh yeah, instead of Oa. They had Kilowog was in there, training them. Tomar Ray was in there. You got to flip through and see him. But he was there. He had the same number that Hal Jordan has in Green Lantern. 2814 was, you know, they called him Duffman 2814 or whatever. And I'm like, that's Hal, because I watched the animated series. It's the only reason I knew that. Sinestro was Vinostro, and he just drank wine.
Yeah.
He was above all this. Hilarious. I cracked up through the whole thing.
And for the backup one, I really like that because it's essentially they're building a network to just push the brand of Duffman, and they're paying for it. There's no ads in it, but they're paying for it by product placement. Mm-hmm. So they're putting Duffman in these situations for like regular TV shows like CSI and just having him ruin them. But ruining them by making them like, oh, and this is a party about Duff. And I cracked up. Everything's in there. DuckTales. It's a hilarious book. It's only $3.99. It comes with a mask. And the story's great. You'll laugh. I guarantee you. Duffman Adventures #1. Not my pick of the week, believe it or not.
It was close to mine. I don't think it's my pick. Oh, what is my pick?
It was close to mine, too.
Oh, man. There's so many good... I'm going to have to decide at the end. As always, I'm going to make you guess at the end. Coming up next, we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, number 33. This is written by Tom Waltz and Kevin Eastman, with art by Mateus Santaloco.
It's my pick of the week.
I knew it. I'm so smart. So smart.
This one, Casey Jones, it's mainly about the relationship between Casey Jones and his dad.
Mm-hmm. It was sad.
It also establishes that the Turtles have to work from the dark, and they are not superheroes, as Mikey initially thought. Mm-hmm. Leonardo says, these aren't your comic books. We're ninjas. Our main priority is not to save people. It's to train to fight against Shredder again, because we got our ass kicked last time that happened, and we almost lost Leonardo. That's never happening again. So they're taking measures to really, truly better themselves and push themselves past the point that they haven't reached.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they're back in New York, doing a lot of stealth missions to try and build that up so that when they attack Shredder, he doesn't even see it. Leo looks like he's falling back into his role as leader. We see him actually having a conversation with Shredder, talking about how he's glad to be home, which is great. I love this last arc. It was so heartfelt, but it's wonderful to see Leo back.
What do you think about Casey's dad? Did you feel sympathy after this one?
Very little. I'm like, you're still a jackass, sir. You should love your son. He just gave you a way out, and you threw that away.
It was a very Star Wars moment where Darth Vader has the choice of killing Luke Skywalker, who he knows is his son, or trying to bring him into the dark side, and then overthrow, what would be their Shredder. In this one, it's very similar. He says, have him join the Foot Clan and become a part of your new family, because we are your family now. It's not your son. And if he refuses, then he is a part of the Rats group, as he puts it. So he betrays Shredder by saying, if you leave the city, I'll tell him that you're dead. You're dead, or you're gone, or whatever. But if you do stay here, I will be forced to, kill you and the rest of your friends. Obviously, Casey Jones is against that. He's there to help out the Turtles and to fight the Foot. I think we're seeing the seeds being planted, because now I'm kind of sympathetic towards this guy. We're going to lose him by the end of this arc. Casey will lose his dad, I think.
Agree. I think a lot's going to happen with Casey. I don't see him and April staying together either.
Yeah, there's some rocky undertones to this issue.
Mm-hmm. Yep, there's a lot of... I think he's going to leave April and go with the Angel Girl.
That'd be good.
Well, I don't know.
Then Donatello can have April.
Oh, okay, because Turtles and Humans are cool, Dan.
Once again, it's totally fine. If Raphael and Alopex can be together, which is what you wanted,
that's fine. They're both...
then Humans and Turtles can be together.
Dan, that's kind of weird.
Why is that weird, but not the Turtle and the Fox?
I don't know. Because I don't know, Dan.
You're like, because they're not human, so it doesn't affect me.
They're not Homo sapiens, so I don't have to question my morals. Like, if I think this human and turtle, am I attracted to turtles?
How about the art in it, though?
Beautiful.
Mateo's returns, which we're really happy about. Like we said earlier, we just want these two artists to rotate. Between Mateo's and the one from the last arc, he was great as well.
Yes.
We said he had a softer touch to everything, which fit the arc perfect. Mateo's, not a lot of action in this, but that's really where he shines. He can really make these turtles look great while they're in motion.
Can he just draw the new movie? Can he do that?
I hope so.
Because that would make it so much better. But yes, definitely a great book. Don't think it was my pick of the week. I haven't gotten to my pick yet.
We'll get to our DC books next. This one is Batman Superman number 9, a.k.a. Superman Loves Batman.
Of course.
Written by Greg Pak with art by Jay Lee. First Contact Part 3.
This one was confusing because Part 2 took place in World's Finest. And we don't pick up World's Finest. So we were kind of having to catch up, fill in the blanks for ourselves. Superman's gay for Batman.
Here's the problem with this one. The whole schedule got fucked up. Like, I guess Jay Lee is known to be a slower worker because supposedly he's a perfectionist. So he works on every panel. He takes his time and really goes over it. Sometimes scraps the entire thing and starts over. And because of that, the scheduling for World's Finest and First Contact and Batman Superman got really rearranged. So people couldn't really... I think the last part comes out before, like, Part 4 or something. Something really screwed up.
That's weird.
It was on Bleeding Cool. There was an article on there. So unfortunately, I feel like this arc has already gone out the window in my mind. That's why it's my pass of the week.
I'd agree. Agreed. It wasn't very good. It was difficult to follow. And I think even if you haven't seen all the parts of an arc, you should still be able to follow it. It was way out there. There are nanites now, and this world's destroyed. But Superman's remembering old Batman and getting kind of turned on. He was.
So with that, our Superman Loves Batman theme song. He was remembering like the different... Was he remembering the other dimension Batman?
Yes.
Is that what it was?
Because if you remember in the last arc, they all went to this other dimension and they came back, but they had their memories wiped, so they didn't remember it. But now they're both starting to remember the other counterparts in the other dimension, and Superman gets really turned on. He's like he was more dark and brooding and manly and... Not like this one, who's also dark and brooding and manly. And
he's going on and on how he's like, I could have saved them, all the Batmen.
It's all my fault.
And by the end of it, he puts on a pretty flamboyant costume.
He does.
To control like his powers, because he's still under that thing where he can't control like heat vision that's coming out.
Because of the nanites.
Yeah, exactly. But this suit helps him control all of that. It's like a suit with like a little mask on, a little white mask, and he's accessorizing. Is what he's doing.
Look at all my bracelets and necklaces and I mean my suit.
I will save you, Bruce. I'll save all of you.
Because I love you. What? Because I need to save the world.
So, was that your pass of the week also?
Yes, mine as well.
Okay.
It just for the fact that it was... I'm sure it's a great story. Very difficult to follow.
So by design, unfortunately, it kind of falls apart.
Exactly. Next, we have Justice League United number 0, aka Justice League in Canada in Space. This is written by Jeff Lemire with art by Mike McKone.
Great jumping on point. Mm-hmm. First off, I want to talk about the cover. This is my favorite cover this week.
Really?
I can't stop looking at it. I think it's great by Mike McKone. Mm-hmm. The colors are awesome. The characters are all featured on there.
You just like it because there's a frog on there. Chilling on Animal Man's shoulder.
I just noticed that, and now I love this cover even more.
This man is obsessed with frogs. You should
and there's an owl. Owls are cool.
You should put up your frog picture on Twitter.
I should. Frogs, that's probably why I like Bulbasaur too, because I like frogs so much, and that's kind of like a frog-like Pokemon. No, but the cover's great. The colors are awesome. And the story itself, thankfully, fits the artwork and the cover and everything. The story is solid. It's such a fun book. Very light. I'm going to say it's different than Justice League of America, because JLA was more about Amanda Waller building this team to counteract the Justice League, to bring them down. This is them fleeing the U.S., supposedly because of the events from Forever Evil, And I guess initially they were going to Canada, but they're going to be working out of space now, hence the title change.
Justice League in Canada in space.
But what's cool about the title, too, is the D still has the Canadian leaf on there.
The maple leaf.
So I thought that was cool. It's more marketable, too, Justice League United.
They're going to have a lot less crime in Canada.
With Martian Manhunter there? Hell yeah.
I hear those people are very nice.
The interaction between Green Arrow and Animal Man was hilarious. Although the whole time I'm like, why is he being such an asshole to Animal Man? Like, what the fuck did he do?
It was very funny. I liked the one part they're fighting. Was it an alien animal? They're fighting something. And Stargirl's like, can't you just communicate with them? And he's like, I'm not Aquaman. My powers don't work like that.
And I think that's a new character also on the cover. She has like the blue suit, the blue and white.
She's really cool. I'm really excited to see her origins.
I forgot her name, but it was just... I took a picture of it. I'm going to tweet it over to Jeff Lemire as well and Mike McCone. The costume is awesome. I love it. And the character fits well with this group that they're putting together. And I like Martian Manhunter as the leader.
He's awesome.
I like the Martian Manhunter.
No Catwoman, though. I'm sad.
No Catwoman. There is a Supergirl now.
She stayed in Gotham with Batman because they were in love.
No, I think...
Pretty sure that's where she is.
I don't know.
Pretty sure.
I doubt that.
I'm pretty sure.
Batman doesn't work. Remember that one Gothtopia one where he tells her, I don't love you. I only saw Gotham safe.
I think he's pretty much in love with her.
Anyway, jump on to Justice League United. Another fun book, a great jumping on point. I can't wait for number 1. Our next, it's going to be our last single issue that we cover this week. We do have a trade after this, but it's Teen Titans Go number 3. It's written by Amy Wolfram and Ricardo Sanchez, with art by Ben Bates and Jorge Corona.
Surprise, this wasn't your favorite book.
What, because of the names?
All these Hispanics.
Rick Sussman from The Read Pile. You can check him out on YouTube. Just search The Read Pile. He and I, we do know each other in person. He says I become the king of Latin whenever I suddenly say these names.
You do.
Which always, I'm like, I'm just pronouncing the names properly, and he calls me the king of Latin. That cracked me up.
You're so funny. You turn into like a Fabio character. Just go ahead, review this whole next comic with a Hispanic accent.
I already have the long hair like the Fabio.
We will get so many women viewers.
What would be the Mexican Fabio name?
Fabito. I don't know.
Fabito.
If you reviewed this, if you just did a Spanish accent for the whole thing, we'd have women all over this. I saw something once. Statistically, things sound sexier with a Spanish accent.
Well, that's great. So part of the pod, that's why we have more than one listener on this, because some of these names that I pronounce properly, not because I'm the king of Latin.
No, let me try these names. Let me try them. Ricardo Sanchez.
No, you got to do it like Sanchez.
Sanchez. George Corona. Oh, like the beer.
Like the beer.
Anyway, Teen Titans Go.
People are like, review comics.
Hilarious. I really liked this one.
They're having a big party.
Starfire is in charge of the guest list. Good for her. She invites all these villains. Her reasoning, because they were on the most wanted list.
So they need them for the party.
This cracked me up. Okay, for listeners who have listened for a while, I read a lot of fan fiction. I got on Teen Titans kick for a while. Found some great fan fiction. If any of you are interested, hit me up on Twitter. But this is so very Starfire, according to my fan fiction, which I trust and believe. But all the characters were so in character for me that it just made it so much better. I'm like, they would all do these things.
The backup story was called Silicon Valley Cyborg, in which Cyborg kind of starts his own company, his own business, and it's essentially a parody of the Apple CEO that died. What was the guy's name?
Jobs.
Steve Jobs. He even wears like the black sweater, and he does the Apple presentation when he presents it to the Titans and to the rest of the business world. So the whole Robin's plan is to make him broke. Spend all this money on just the silliest shit, and Cyborg just wants to make him happy, so he complies. It was a great issue. It was really funny. It's only $2.99. Great for your kids.
Worth it.
If it were between this and Duffman, I would say Duffman. Duffman's not really for kids, though, because you see a lot of beer in it. And that's like, I don't know if this should be in the kids section. I don't think it is at our comic shop. But this one, if it's a younger reader, Teen Titans Go is great. Plenty of reading in it. It's simple enough, and the story is funny. And
the final comic we have to review is actually a trade, which I've been so excited for. Green Lantern Trade Paperback, Volume 3. Written by Jeff Johns with art by Doug Menke.
It's titled The End. Because it truly is the end of Jeff Johns' run and really like the best Green Lantern stories you'll probably get for a while.
It should be titled Little Sinestro Hand. Because that is the best part of that book.
The Sinestro Hand that we've always been talking about.
They were burned. Here's my hand to prove it.
It comes from this book, from that final issue. I think it's number 19, 20, or 21, one of the three.
I thought it was 21.
It's probably 21. It's like a supersized issue. Perfect ending to a great run from Jeff Johns. And the third trade is actually bigger than the last two because it includes the Simon Baz story, his origin. It starts with all of that.
That's awesome.
And rereading that, it's just like, it's still a little heavy-handed with like the terrorism thing, but I'm sure many people felt the way he did. So it's represented here in this book. And he's a great character. I like Simon. And it very quickly jumps into the wrath of the First Lantern, how the Guardians are assholes to this guy, how they're sucking his power to shut down all the living things in the universe so that there's perfection and order, and how the Lanterns are all, including the First Lantern, kind of have that same goal, except the First Lantern wants to destroy them and recreate the universe. He's essentially like Aya. I don't know if you caught that, like that parallel between the two. Aya.
I think we watched the animated series after I read this comic, so I'll have to reread it, but I'm sure there is a parallel there.
Because the First Lantern wants to become like a god to the beginning of the universe and recreate everything how he wants it, but Sinestro will have none of it, and I guess Hal, but...
and maybe Hal, too.
So it's a great... I haven't finished rereading this whole series. I got up to where Hal and Sinestro are trying to get back to their bodies, and it's so fascinating seeing Simon try to use his ring because it's kind of corrupt because it's Hal and Sinestro's ring, and then he's using it also. So when there's that one message waiting for him, when you become a Green Lantern, you have that message that tells you about Oa and you're the First Lantern. You have overcome great fear. It's both Sinestro and Hal at the same time. They interchange words and sentences, but they each say different things. Like Hal says, trust only humans or whatever, and Sinestro's like, trust no one.
Yep, I remember that part. Oh, it was I remember it being a fantastic run. I'm definitely going to have to reread it just for the little Sinestro hand.
You love that part.
Oh, I use it in everyday life, guys. You don't understand. Dan's like, what's for lunch? And I point to things. I'm like, that's zitty. I've burned. But you should try some. With my little Sinestro hand. Everyday life. It has become... That comic is worth it just for the value that little hand has brought me.
Yeah. So an amazing Green Lantern run. I think it's only $24.99 for that trade. It's worth it. Pick up volumes 1, 2, and 3. You don't need to read Sinestro Corps or anything before the New 52 to enjoy this, but you'll understand Sinestro and Hal way more afterwards, especially with that moment when the Guardians truly become villains. I think for the first time in Green Lantern lore is pre-52, right when Jeff Johns got on it. That was one of the major changes he made to the Green Lantern series, and it's great. It starts with a rebirth, and it ends here with Volume 3, The End. All by Jeff Johns. So with that, your pick of the week.
Oh, man. Can I pick Future's End? Because that was definitely my pick of the week. I think I'm going to go with Duffman, Adventures #1. I think mostly because I had such a low expectation of this book. I'm like, oh, Simpsons are usually good, but this was phenomenal. Knocked it out of the park. Bases loaded, walk-off grand slam. Good job,
Drops
guys.
his beer can.
Yep.
Yeah, Duffman was really good. You said otherwise it would be the Future's End, the Free Comic Book Day.
When we get to Free Comic Book Day, that'll be my pick.
Yeah, we'll discuss Free Comic Book Day. I think if we record on time next week, it should be after Free Comic Book Day. But we'll see. Either way, we'll do like a special Free Comic Book Day edition. We'll talk about how great that day was and how it's probably the biggest day of the year for most retailers. So again, have fun. You can find us on Twitter at ReasonsI'mBroke. Let us know which Free Comic Book Days comic books you're planning to pick up. You can go to freecomicbookday.com, click on the comics, and you can see the full list that the publishers are offering on that day.
Also, check us out on YouTube. Just search The Reasons I'm Broke. We have unboxings, and we also post the podcast up there. So make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date with everything we're doing.
On Facebook, you can find us, facebook.com/TheReasonsI'mBroke. If you don't have a Twitter, you can also like us on Facebook.
And if you listen to us on iTunes, please make sure to leave us a rating, a comment, or review. It helps other people find us.
The reviews are so important on iTunes. It helps the podcasts jump up in the charts and actually helps more people find them. If you ever go to the pages with the podcast, you see like the front page with all the different ones, the higher hits. The reviews are so important with that. So if you haven't yet, if you listen to us on iTunes, please leave us a review. It's very important, and we'd very much appreciate it. If you do leave us a review, we'll give you a shout out here on the podcast.
If you don't listen to us on iTunes, you can also check us out on Stitcher. Just search The Reason I'm Broke.
Stitcher is a great app for the Android devices and for iDevices. But also Blueberry. We are now on Blueberry. It's another podcast hosting website. It's just another place you can find the podcast. But really, Stitcher is great for the Android apps. But if you want to listen to us through your computer, iTunes, Blueberry is great. Stitcher is awesome. And of course, YouTube.
And finally, if any of you are in the Chicago area this weekend and go to C2E2, go to Dustin Wynn's booth and tell him to let me know he's going to be there before I cancel my vacation to Chicago C2E2 next year. Because I am totally upset right now. And then get a commission of Batman and Catwoman and mail it to me. I'll pay you back.
She promises.
I do. I will literally pay you back.
She's going to pay you back in shout-outs.
No, seriously. If anybody's up there and wants to get me a picture, I'll send you money. Not more than you paid for it, but I'll send you money.
And I'll help with retweets. I'll retweet
Yes.
you on Twitter
Yes.
or something. So thanks again for listening, Brokettes. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Kelli.
See you next week.